Hey guys, in this course we are going to take a look at Git. This is meant to be a guide for beginners, either new or intermediate programmers or developers that either don't know what Git is or have used it before but still don't really grasp the full concept. Alright, so we are going to start with a couple of slides and then we'll jump in and we'll look at some of the most important commands for you to know. Alright, so let's talk about what Git is. It is a version control system for tracking changes in computer files. Alright, so it was initially created in 2005 by Linus Torvalds, who was also the creator of Linux. There is no specific language or framework or anything that you need to use. You can use it for static HTML websites, Node.js, apps, Python, JS, JavaScript, Java, C#, anything at all. It just stores files. So Git is a distributed version control system or decentralized version control system. And what that means is that many developers can work on a single project without having to be on the same network. Okay, so there are also version control systems that developers actually need to be on the same network to use that. That's not what Git is. It is decentralized or distributed. Alright, Git helps to coordinate work between multiple developers and track every single version and every single change that's made on the system or in the project. You can also revert back to a specific version of any file at any time as long as it is committed to the repository. Usually when you use Git, you'll have a repository on your local machine that you work on, or you make changes and then you upload it or push it to the remote repository. Okay, so something like GitHub or Bitbucket. GitLab is also a different type of remote repository, and then you can push your local repository to the remote one. You don't need any internet connection to work with the repository locally, and you can make changes, but if you want to push it to the remote repository, you will need an internet connection. Alright, so let's quickly look at some concepts of Git. So it is essentially keeps track of your code history with snapshot of your file. Alright, so you make these snapshots by actually making a commit with a simple command, and you can always go back to see any snapshot of a previously written code. And like I said, you can always revert back if you need. So your code is extremely safe when you're working with Git. You can put your code in a staging area before actually doing the commit and writing to the snapshot. This is done with a simple add command. Okay, and I'll go over all the important commands. Once you make a commit to a repository, other developers can then pull that information from their machine. Okay, so you can create branches, but we'll get into that in a little bit later. Alright, I'm trying to just really stick to the basics here. Okay, so let's take a look at the basic commands that you'll need to learn. The number one command is git init. So git init will initialize a Git repository. So you go into a folder via command line or terminal and you do git and init, and it will create a git folder, a .git folder in that project. It's hidden by default. You almost never need to go into this folder. At least I never have. Alright, and then once you initialize that folder as a repository, you can then start to run other commands. So the next command we are going to study is git add. Alright, so git add will add the files or folders that you specify to the staging area of the index and will then be ready to commit. So you can run as many as commands you want until you commit your files to the remote repository. The next command is git status. So if you want to see what you have in the staging area and ready for commit, you can just use git status, and that will display the difference between the working tree and the staging area of the index. Next is git commit. Alright, so when you are ready to go, you can go ahead and commit your files. So you can run git commit. It will take everything that's in the index or the staging area and put it into the local repository. There's also some important flags that you need to know or options that you need to know with git commit, but I'll get into those a little later. Alright, So the next three commands I'm going to show you have to be with remote repository. So if you are working with GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab or something like that, you can use this command. So these commands are git push. Okay, so git push will take your local repository that you have created and then push it to a remote repository. So you will have to add, for instance, GitHub or another remote service, and you have to add your credentials. So it will ask for your password and so on. The next command we are going to say is git pull. So if you want to pull the latest changes from the remote repository, so you can just do git pull. Alright, so if someone makes changes in your repository and you want to fetch the latest version of it on your local machine, you do the git pull. The next command is git clone, and then git clone will copy a remote repository into your current folder. So if you find a program or a project or a module that you liked on GitHub and you want to work on it on your local machine, you can simply clone it and download it on your machine. So the installation is pretty easy. So this was the complete explanation for our what Git is and how it works. So we have different operating systems on which we install GitHub. So if you want to install it on Linux, it is a simple package command for Debian. So we can use apt-get. For Fedora we use yum, and if you are on Mac, you can go to this URL right here. This is a git scm and you can download Git. And then for Windows there's a few different programs you can use, but I'd always suggest the git scm. So you can visit the link, I'll mention the link in the description below. You can download it from there. So this also comes with a tool called git bash, which is a command line tool, and it gives you a more Linux environment on Windows. I almost always use this tool over the standard Windows command line. Now here is the graphical tools that you can use where you don't need to use commands, but I strongly recommend you that you use the commands, because if you only use the graphical user interface, you're not really learning anything. So how Git works under the hood, and if there is no graphical user interface available, you're going to be lost. And it's not like it's really hard. If it was really hard or really difficult, then maybe I'd say that you can use the graphical user interface, but it is very easy and simple, at least for the basics. It can get complicated to really know how it works internally, but four things that you are going to need it for, most likely you are not going to need to know everything, and it's pretty simple. Alright, so that's going to be the for the slides. Let's go ahead and jump in and I will show you how Git works. So that's it for today's explanation. We will be working with the installation part in our next episode. Thank you.